Okay, I'm back to do some more to this track that I was working on last night. After I finished recording, I just saved it and named the track Free Running. Why not? I don't know what made me think of that, but free running's pretty cool, so why not name a track that? Okay, when I was listening back to what I'd recorded last night, I noticed it seemed like the audio that was coming out of Logic was clipping a bit. It seemed like it was too loud, so I've dropped the output down, drop it down sort of minus 5 dB or something. I don't know if that actually makes a difference. I don't know how ScreenFlow is the capture software I use. I don't know how it works. I don't know. I'm hoping that by dropping the output down it will affect the input going into ScreenFlow. I guess we'll find out. Okay. Do you know what I spent? I think the video in total was 1 hour and 45 minutes, or all in, roughly. And what we've got 8 bars. Didn't really get very far. Hopefully today we can do a little bit more. So why don't I shut up and we'll just start. Let's have a little playthrough first. Okay. First off, I think this needs something to help it stand out a little bit more in the mix. So I think I'm going to add some kind of distortion. I'm going to try as much as possible in this video and any others I make. I'm going to try, if I can, to stick with as many stock plugins or plugins that are freeware and freely available, just so that anyone out there that wants to try and take some of the same ideas isn't left feeling like they can't recreate it because they don't have the plugins. Saying that, I don't have an awful lot of third-party plugins, and all of the ones I do have, obviously I've paid for. Sorry, something in my throat there. Okay. Yeah, I mean there are quite a few on here that are free. Camel Audio's Camel Crusher, that's a free one. I'm not sure about that one. It might be actually. These the LePou plugins. They're amp simulate. Actually, I could use that for some distortion. They're sort of amp simulators, and the LePou 2 Rev 1 is a cabinet simulator. Oh, it's an actually it's an impulse response loader. I won't go into that now. I might do a video on that at some point, but very, very good. I mean, all free. I think it's a Canadian guy that I don't know. It's just what I've heard on the internet, and obviously it must be true then. But yeah, it's all freeware stuff. I don't. If I can find it, I may put a link in the description. Although I'm not sure. Well, I'm sure. Well, I'll try and do that. But very good anyway. These were free, I think, or the free. Yeah, I think these were free. LVC-Audio. I mean, if you're interested in this, go do a Google search and type in freeware VSTs or freeware plugins for Logic or whatever DAW you're using, and I'm sure you'll find something, and there are some good ones out there. And if you're on PCs, I think there's probably even more choice, because I know there's a lot that you seem to be able to get for PCs that I can't seem to get on the Mac. Anyway, enough chatter. I said I was going to make this a quicker, a more concise video, and so far I've just been rambling again. Okay, yes, distortion. Hello, dogs. Let's try the LePou. I do like the LE or the LE-456. I think this is meant to be an Engel amp emulator. What does that sound like? That doesn't seem to be making any difference whatsoever. It's a little bit... oh, hang on. There we go. Oh, didn't click that over, did I? Alright, Jake. I'll play with you in a bit, mate. Alright. Oh. Alright, where's your toy? Okay, ever the professional, I'm going to try and play with my dogs and continue. Can you hear that? Continue making music at the same time. That doesn't sound very good. I'm going to try something else. If you are recording in guitars, I mean, I do some sort of metal production, sort of recording guitars, and those LePou plugins are excellent. You can get some especially if you find some decent impulse responses, you can get some very good sounds. It's not working for this synth sound, but let's try something else. Let's try the LVC-Freefuzz. That's more like it. We're getting actually. I think that's quite good as it is, actually. Okay, that's quite good. Let's send this. What did I? I'm going to call this synth FX1. If again, for any people that are fairly new to Logic and this kind of recording, production, sorry, I'm just adjusting the microphone, hopefully it's not making too much noise. If you are quite new to it, it might seem a little bit daunting at first, but you should really, I think it's really beneficial to get into trying to bus your sounds. I'm no real technical expert. I don't really know what's going on under the bonnet, and to be quite frank, I don't really want to. I just know when, you know, I like to. I know that something works. If you take any of your sounds, any of your channel strips, your MIDI regions, software instruments, and your audios, if you send, if you click on here and go to bus and choose your bus, I'll do that again just in case. Let me. Have I got any that have not? Okay, here, this one, this channel, we don't have anything being sent at the moment. So so what you'll see is a grayed out box here where it says send. If you click and hold there, go down to bus, and a list of buses will come up. Obviously, you can have up to 64. I've never used anywhere near that amount. One day I might try and actually do a project where I use all 64 just for the hell of it. God knows what that do to the processor, but anyway. So yeah, so you click here, hold, click and hold, and then select your bus. In Logic X, when you open up software instruments and stuff, it seems to load in some reverbs on some send channels, some bus channels, which it didn't do in Logic Pro 9 or earlier. It's kind of, it's good in some ways because it's quite quick and instantly you've got some reverbs or possibly delays or something to handle. I don't know, maybe it is only reverbs they put on the sends, but I quite like doing everything myself, sort of from scratch, and it doesn't really matter because I can rework it. It's just yeah, just one of those things. Anyway, one of the best things about using a send. Okay, what is this sound? Let's just do an example for you. I'm going to solo this. I think this was me. I think this was me flicking some kind of. I think it was a deodorant can actually. Go on, take that off solo. Okay, not very interesting. Now what I could do is I could put some effects on here on this channel like you normally would. Let's do, okay, it's not very loud, so I may want to sort of compress the sound to try and be able to bring up the overall volume. Instead of putting it on the actual channel, I'm going to send this to a bus. So we'll pick one that hasn't got anything on it already, bus 5. If you hold down Alt and click on this dial here, it will take it to unity gain or to 0. So that's up to full input without it being boosted or ducked or whatever you would call that. And then here it's opened up a new auxiliary channel. So basically this is sending from this channel to a bus. So I suppose think of it like a regular bus you might get on, and a bus is driving over to this auxiliary channel, which we are going to rename comp for compression. And on here, instead of going to here, on here I'm going to put a compressor, and we'll just go vintage VCA, whatever that is. I'm not well up on my compressor types and what they are. I think it's the wiring type and whether they're, I don't know, I'm not even going to go there because I'll just highlight my ignorance. Anyway, so yeah, I've put some, turn the ratio up a bit. Actually, let's go, we'll put quite a lot of this on and we're really going to sort of compress this sound. Okay, let me solo that. Okay, a little bit too much. Okay, so this technique is, I think it's called New York compression or parallel compression. Basically what we're doing, instead of compressing the original signal, we're keeping the original channel, the original signal dry, and then we're duplicating the signal. Basically when you use a send, you're kind of duplicating. It's almost like duplicating the track and copying the item over. However, you don't have to deal with another channel strip. You've got it's going via a send, and then obviously if you drop or change the amount that you're sending, it won't be as loud. If you go to unity gain, if you go to 0.0 there, that's alt click again, it will be an exact duplicate, obviously without doing anything to it. And obviously you can boost it up, you can pull it down, whatever. We'll just leave it where it is for the time being. So now I'm compressing the second version of this. So what I can do is I can really compress it heavily, and then by either changing the amount that the original is being sent via the bus, or by changing the volume here, we can blend it in with the original dry signal. So that's just the original, and now if I slowly bring in the compressed, I'm probably not using the best sound to demonstrate this on, but never mind. Okay. You probably should be able to hear how that's getting a little bit louder. Let's do something a little bit more drastic. If I put on some distortion, let's bit crush it, and let's go a bit crazy with this. Okay, I'm just going to hear what that sounds like on its own. Okay, that sounds totally different to what the original is. Okay, so let's, if I mute this, actually I won't mute it, I'll just pull the volume down. Okay, and let me slowly bring, solo these. I'll bring this in and you hopefully hear what's happening. I think you get the idea. Now another thing you can do, on here where you've got your send, if you click and hold on these little arrows, it comes default set as post pan, is that what it's normally on? I thought it was post fader. Anyway, if you set it to pre-fader, basically what that will do, in Logic 9 it used to turn this green, which I kind of found in this version it just throws the dial to the other sides. I suppose it makes sense, but visually it's not quite as instantly clear to me. But anyway, let me demonstrate by if I send this one to a reverb as well. So normally the dial would be over here on this side. If you change it to a pre-fader, it goes to the other side. And what this means is that the amount you're sending here is unaffected by the fader volume here. So we can have this all the way down, and if I play it, we're getting all of that sending to our trashy sounding bit crusher compressed channel, or audio or auxiliary channel. And there are benefits to this, and again you can blend the original sound back in. It gives you so many options and variations, and if that sounds a bit complex, a bit too, you know, a bit much to take in one go, don't worry about it. What I'd say is just experiment, do something simple. And probably the easiest thing to do actually would be to, if I get rid of this one, I'm just going to delete that because I don't want that. I may need a compression send, so I will leave that. I'll take the bit crusher off because that was too much. Click and hold on here, no send. This one, if you use a space designer or any kind of reverb plugin, so pick on a channel, send it to a bus, and then put a reverb on your send, and now any channels, any audio clips, any software instruments that you want, you can send it to that bus that you've selected, and all your channels that you send will have an amount of reverb on it, and it saves you from having to put an individual space designer or other plugin on every single channel that you want that effect on. And you can adjust the amount that each one is sending. So you might have, say, a cymbal that you want to send and have a lot of reverb on, and you may have a snare and you want a bit of the reverb, but you don't want it to disappear into the background, you still want it very present, so you just send it a smaller amount, and it kind of puts both sounds in the same space, but without sort of having to sort of compromise on. It gives you that flexibility, that would be the word, in, you know, how much coloration you're giving to each channel. Anyway, again, I've been nattering on. We've done almost nothing to this track, and we've probably been recording for half an hour, I don't know. God. Okay, let's make some music. I think I should just accept that I'm never going to get a video done in 10 minutes, inside of 10 minutes, unless it's about something very specific. I know exactly what it is I'm going on about. I have a tendency to rattle on and go off on diverse tangents. Anyway. This to me is still sounding somewhat weak. I want it to pop a little bit more. I'm gonna do try some. That's a little bit better. Let's actually go back to the. See, on its own that sounds better without the distortion, but I don't know in the mix whether it's better or worse. Okay, it disappears a little bit more, but actually I do prefer how it sounds. Okay, maybe I can do something. Let's add some drive. I may put some bit crusher on this. I find I want the resolution high, but I find no, it's not working on this. I find adding a bit crusher seems to act almost like a limiter or a compressor, in that it allows you to get a little bit more volume out of, you know, audible. It allows you to get a little bit more audible volume out of some sounds. Snares it works quite well on, and other percussion sometimes. Without, it kind of seems to rein in the peaks of the while sort of retaining the volume levels, which either allows you to boost it a little bit, or at least keep it where it is without it peaking. Coffee. Oh yes. Okay. I may try something here. I do really like the sound. Hang on, I'm going to save at this point. I cannot stress to you enough. Try and save your work as regularly as possible, and especially if the thought occurs to you, oh, maybe I should save what I'm doing, just do it. If you think it and you don't do it, I guarantee you it will crash, or something will happen. You'll get a power cut, and actually Logic X does have a backup, and it will it didn't I can't remember what you call it. It will have the last auto-saved version, that's what it calls it, an auto-saved version. Logic 9 didn't have anything like that, so if you are using an older version of Logic, save, because the one time, especially if you, and it's so annoying if you think, oh, maybe I better save it, and you think, oh, I'll just finish what I'm doing and I'll do it in a few minutes. If it crashes in that time, you'll be kicking yourself, especially if like you're like anything like me, and the way I quite often did it, I would start a tune and I would be making it for maybe an hour without having bothered to save it, and I could lose a whole tune, apart from maybe I might have saved after 5 minutes and have, you know, 3 cymbal hits and a crappy snare and a whole tune that I was actually grooving with and getting into, it just disappeared. But oh well, these things happen, such is life, eh? Come on, man, make some music. People aren't here to hear you waffle.